Hello everyone! Tonight we are beneath a roof of swaying branches. Deeper than roads, go deeper than memory allows, standing in the still heart of a forgotten orchard where even the wind stops to listen. Something is wrong with the trees. You don't see it yet, not clearly, but you feel it like a breath against the back of your neck that doesn't belong to you. You are here. Alone but not. The orchard is not dead. It is remembering. You probably won't survive. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is there. Now, turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soothing noise, and let's get started tonight. The orchard has no name, only a direction people whisper and quickly change. It sits past the last stone boundary beyond the last sheep pasture where the fence sags like it's tired of holding anything in. You step through the mist and it's like walking into the memory of someone else's dream, someone who forgot how to wake up. The trees are wrong. Not twisted, not rotted, just close. Too close. Their branches don't move with the wind, they move with you. Every footstep you take echoes a little too long. You glance back and the footprints behind you seem slightly wider than yours, or narrower. Or maybe they weren't yours at all. There are signs carved into the bark spirals, lips, teeth. None of them match any known language. One tree bears a scratched-out circle with a dot in the middle. You touch it. It's warm. It is always harvest season here. Apples hang heavy on every branch. Red, round, gleaming like eyes. They do not fall. They do not rot. They simply remain, and they do not blink. You reach out and take one. It's not an apple. It's soft, warm, covered in fine dark hairs. You drop it. It doesn't bounce. A joke might help here, so here's one. What do you call an orchard that grows regrets instead of fruit? History class. But it's not just history. One theory says this place was once a sacred grove for a now lost tribe, maybe pre-Etruscan, who believed faces were seeds of the soul. They buried masks under trees instead of bodies. The fruit grew from memory, not flesh, and the fruit remembered, even now. Some researchers still argue whether the site ever existed. No satellite image ever holds its shape for long, and no expedition returns with more than scratches and silence. Even the GPS here has the courtesy to get lost. You pass a tree with a ribbon tied around its trunk, modern satin pink. It flutters even when the air is still. You notice a name etched just above it. Your name, but written in your mother's handwriting. It's probably nothing. Still, you don't remember telling anyone where you were going. You only remember the ache, the dream, the orchard that had no path and still you found it. Another joke then. What do you get when you plant sorrow in fertile ground? A family reunion. There is a small clearing ahead. The trees part reluctantly as if your presence is only tolerated by some unspoken agreement. In the center lies an old stone chair. Not a bench, a chair like a throne left behind in a forgotten cathedral, overgrown and moss-choked. No birds here, no crickets, no breath of wind. You sit. You don't mean to, but the orchard is persuasive. It molds around you, cradles your spine. You feel your heartbeat slow just a touch. You breathe in cider and rot and something like cinnamon or maybe blood. You can't tell the difference anymore. One of the apples has rolled beside your foot. Its skin is now pale papery and tight. It has your nose. You are probably imagining things. Or maybe the orchard is just flattering you. It does tend to mirror what it takes. A few scholars have suggested this phenomenon is tied to pareidolia, the human instinct to see faces where none exist. A survival trait they say evolved so we could recognize emotion in the dark. The orchard simply amplifies this instinct, turning recognition into reflection into replacement. You see a child's face in the tree bark, smooth, wide-eyed, slightly off. Its lips move. No sound. Another joke. Why did the orchard need therapy? It couldn't stop projecting. You blink and the face is gone. But now your reflection in the silver of your thermos looks just a little bit off. Lips thinner, Eyes smaller. Not wrong, not alarming, just not quite yours. The orchard hums. It's time to leave. You feel it in the shifting shadows, in the sudden absence of footsteps that should follow you. But which way is out? The trees have rearranged themselves. A low chime rings out, not a bell, not quite. Something between metal and wind and throat. And suddenly, you remember something you shouldn't. A lullaby in a language that never belonged to your family. Sung to you by someone without a face. You hum it back. The orchard listens. You will return. You always do. The orchard does not like to be forgotten. You feel it watching you now, not as one presence, but as hundreds of small attentions arranged like fruit in the dark. The wind is still, but the branches twitch. You keep walking, unsure whether you are leaving or only circling deeper in. There's a sensation behind your eyes, like a name being whispered, that you used to know something soft, important, and ruined. It's probably just fatigue, or the pollen, or the orchard. You follow what looks like a path, though the soil is smooth and unbroken, as if no one has ever stepped here, including you. But when you glance back, your footprints are there. And next to them, fainter, older, another pair. Slightly smaller, slightly ahead of yours. It's fine. At your side, a low stone trough emerges from the underbrush. Half buried, worn down by centuries of rainfall and moss. Inside, water ripples, though you didn't touch it. You lean in. The reflection shows your face, then someone else's, then a tree's. You blink. It's back to your face again. There's a folktale recorded in an 18th century journal by a delirious traveler passing through the Apennines. He wrote about a forest where faces are loose and must be pinned with teeth. In his tale, a man borrowed the face of a fox to scare off spirits, but forgot how to take it off, and now his grandchildren run from him in the night. No one believed the story, of course, except for the bit where he mentioned the orchard, by name. The same name carved on your thermos last night while you slept. The one you scrubbed off this morning. Not real, you told yourself, but you're still here. Here's a joke. What's the worst fruit to eat alone? A memory. You brush against a low-hanging branch. It sticks to your jacket not with sap, but with something cooler. Something like breath. You peel it off and realize the leaf it left behind on your sleeve is shaped like an ear. The wind starts again, but not all at once. Just one tree, then another. A rustle on your left, then behind you, as if something is weaving between trunks, breathing close to the bark. A real ancient fact before you panic. The earliest known cultivated orchards date back over 11,000 years in what is now modern-day Jordan. Remains of figs seedless grown from cuttings suggest that humans were grafting memory into plants before they even made pottery. Some scholars suggest these early orchards weren't just about food, they were mnemonic landscapes. Living maps of stories, trees planted in patterns that whispered truths to those who knew how to walk them. You don't know the pattern here, but you have a feeling it knows you. A clearing opens up not like before. This one has structure. Half-sunken standing stones in a perfect circle, moss-covered and tilted like crooked teeth. In the middle, another tree, taller than the rest. Bald. Branches like arms curled around a hollow, and inside the hollow, a mask. It is made of bark, smooth, pale, no eye holes. Just the vague suggestion of a face flattened and unfamiliar, like someone trying to draw you from memory without having seen you in years. You pick it up, it's heavier than it looks. A whisper stirs behind you. You turn. No one. But a shadow moves where it shouldn't. Slower than wind. Slower than thought. Another joke. What's the first thing you lose in the orchard? The argument. The mask breathes. You drop it. It doesn't fall, it lands upright, face pointed toward you. The chin sinks gently into the soil as if it belongs there. As if it's been waiting. You step back. One of the stones at the edge of the clearing now has a crack you don't remember. Inside the crack, something gleams, a tooth. A coin. An eye. No, a mirror shard. You leave it alone, but not before you catch a glimpse of yourself. except you're not standing the way you are. You're hunched. The arms are longer. The smile is wider, just for a moment. Some researchers argue the orchard is a natural hallucinogen site, that the mist contains spores or psychoactive chemicals produced by rare fungi beneath the roots. They say the place feels haunted because it triggers ancestral memories' genetic echoes brought on by altered neurochemistry. Other scholars counter that there is no scientific record of such fungi, nor a confirmed location of the orchard, nor in fact any consensus that it exists at all. You wonder if the mask would feel more real than your face does right now. You're thinking of picking it up again. Instead, you hum the lullaby from before. The trees still. The mist thickens. Something listens. Behind you, footsteps. Not yours. You don't turn around. Instead, you say it's not time yet. And the steps stop. There's an etiquette to haunted places. You've always suspected this. Walk with respect, don't whistle, don't run, and never take what was offered to someone else. You back out of the clearing, slowly, carefully. When you return to the orchard's denser paths, you find the trees farther apart. Their branches no longer reach for you. The pressure has eased. But one of the apples now hangs at eye level. It has a familiar nose. You don't remember what your own looked like. The orchard doesn't want you to leave. Not yet. You tell yourself that's just a poetic thought. That dread is a natural side effect of confusion. That misty forests trigger your imagination. You even consider saying it aloud just to break the tension, but your throat feels delayed as though your voice needs permission. The air is heavier now, not oppressive attentive, like you're being studied through the fog weighed not by mass, but by memory. The orchard no longer feels like a place. It feels like a presence pretending to be one. You pass a small depression in the earth. Shallow, oval, too smooth to be erosion. And then another, and another. Sleeping hollows footprints. You try to match your step to them and feel for a second your legs moving like they used to walk this way, as if your bones are following an older choreography. You don't like that thought. Here's a joke. Why don't ghosts need passports because they're always crossing over? You laugh quietly. The orchard does not. Another structure ahead, a low stone platform split by a tree trunk that grew through its middle long after it was abandoned. The stone has been polished by time and touch, and on the surface, arranged in a spiral of tiny carved faces, are masks. Dozens, each a different expression, each a different material. Clay, wood, bone, wax. And in the center of the spiral is a bowl. Wide, shallow, dry. You step forward. The ground doesn't creak, doesn't resist, but something inside you shifts. You kneel. Not because you want to, because it's easier than standing. The bowl contains dust, and beneath the dust, a coin. Bronze, uneven, ancient. One side bears a face, the other a tree. You lift it. A wind picks up immediately. Not everywhere, just around you. Enough to stir your hair, rattle the bowl, and make the mask nearest your knee lean toward you slightly as if interested. There's a story buried here. In one early Sumerian myth, there is mention of a god who made a grove from his own memories. Each tree held a version of his face. He would walk through it to remember who he had been. But when he began to forget which version was the true one, he buried himself beneath the roots. That grove was said to reappear for anyone who had forgotten their own name. You haven't forgotten yours. You think. You place the coin back. The wind stops. Across the platform, one mask turns toward you. You don't see it move, but its new angle is undeniable. The orchard is not testing you. It's reminding you of what you don't know yet. But the hollows in the earth are starting to repeat. You've passed that ribboned tree again, same pink thread, same carving above it. Your name's still etched in your mother's hand, except now there's a date beneath it. You don't recognize the year. Some researchers, folklorists, mostly believe cursed places are simply emotional loops, trauma gardens, psychic compost heaps, that a location absorbs enough pain or ritual or grief to begin replaying those elements like grooves on a record. They insist that ghosts are symptoms, not causes. Others say ghosts aren't trapped here. We are. You consider calling out. Hello. Is anyone there? The usual horror film fare? But you don't want to hear the answer, not in your own voice. A clearing opens again, wider this time. There is a cairn in the middle, neatly stacked stones no higher than your chest. Atop the cairn, a mask. Not bark, not clay, something pale and fibrous. You realize with a lurch that it's woven. Like a basket, like a cradle. You approach. You're not sure why. The mask has holes. Not just for the eyes holes through the face. It wouldn't hide anything. It would only let more in. You lean down and notice something tucked into the rocks below a small fossil. A trilobite. Perfectly preserved. Real ancient fact. Trilobites were among the first animals to develop complex eyes. Some species had compound lenses rivaling those of modern insects. They lived in darkness in oceans that no longer exist and left behind more fossils than almost any other animal. And still, they're gone. Gone, but not forgotten. The orchard likes that. You pocket the fossil instinctively. You turn, and now you see them. Figures between the trees, motionless, watching. Not threatening, not even especially eerie, just wrong. Some too tall, some with arms too long. One with a bent neck like its head had been lowered for so long it forgot how to lift. None of them come closer. They don't need to. Their faces are blank, but their stances suggest recognition. They know you, or someone you once were. Another joke. What do you call a face that follows you home? An ex-person. You smile. Then notice your smile lingers in the mist longer than your mouth. You take a step back. The figures fade. Not vanish, fade. As if stepping behind a curtain you can't see. You could still call them back if you knew how. You don't. Your hand drifts to your pocket. The fossil hums with its own stillness. You whisper to it. Am I remembering or being remembered? The orchard does not answer, but the mask on the cairn is now turned toward you. Its holes line up with your eyes. You don't remember placing it there. You're certain you didn't. You think. The mask remains still, but something inside you flinches. You feel watched not just from outside, but from within, as though your own face is questioning you. The woven holes of the mask echo in your mind, circular and patient. You back away slowly, careful not to break the rhythm of the moment, because rhythm matters here. You've started to notice that much. The orchard rewards those who move in pattern. It disapproves of sudden motion. It distrusts hesitation. You are being taught, not with words, with repetition. The same hollow appears again. The same ribbon tree now without the ribbon. The same low whistle of wind between two trunks that don't touch. The orchard is not looping, it is adjusting. Testing which version of itself you respond to. Another joke might help. What's the hardest part about being haunted? Figuring out who the haunting is for. You try the path to your left this time, which wasn't there before. The trees lean in closer here, not threateningly, just attentively. You pass through curtains of moss heavy with dew, brushing your arms like careful hands. You no longer swat them away. You've learned your manners. There's a scent here. Not decay, not rot, something warmer. Like crushed stone and honey. It reminds you of an attic in your grandmother's house long gone now, with boxes that held other people's names. It makes you nostalgic for things that never happened. You find a stone basin carved into a tree's roots. Water again. But this time it ripples in perfect concentric circles as if something is breathing below the surface in a rhythm too slow for animals, too old for weather. You lean in. Your reflection waits. It changes again. But this time, it's not a face you recognize. Still yours, still bearing your general shape, but older, or younger, or parallel. A version of you who said yes when you said no, or no when you said yes. It blinks and does not match your timing. You close your eyes, take a breath, open them. Now it's your father's face. Then your sister's, then one you don't know at all, but it smiles in that way you did when you were small and didn't yet understand mirrors. You step back. A scholar once theorized that cursed places act like memory wells. They don't just preserve emotion, they invite it, amplify it, reshape it. That's why people come back changed. Because a memory once reflected through time and place becomes indistinguishable from possession. Some researchers argue the opposite, that there are no cursed places, only places with enough depth to hold the curse you bring. You're not sure which camp you fall into anymore. The mist thickens around your knees. You press forward following a new sound, something like bells, not ringing, more like breathing through copper. You remember reading about that somewhere, a burial custom from Neolithic Anatolia, where wind chimes made of carved bone were hung in burial groves, not to call the dead, but to remind them to stay. You wonder if that's what's hanging in the branches now. You don't look up. The sound leads you to another clearing. This one is bare, no stones, no masks, just grass. Flattened into the shape of a perfect circle, as though something enormous once lay here, or still does. You step into it. The wind stops, entirely. The orchard exhales. All sound disappears except for the slow rhythm of your breath. And behind it, a second breath, not yours. You speak. You don't mean to. The words are not your own. I forgive you, you say. For what? There's no answer. Only that stillness. You exit the circle. The air returns. But something remains behind your eyes. A sensation quiet and unfinished, like a song you only half remember. You feel the masks watching you again. Not with judgment, with invitation. You pass another tree. This one doesn't have an apple. It has a face. Not carved, not grown, just there, emerging from the bark, still soft, still forming, the eyes closed, the mouth slightly open like it's dreaming of breath. And you realize with a stillness of your own that you know this face, not well, but enough. You saw it once reflected in the glass of a train window. A stranger's face. A passenger you never spoke to. Why is it here? Why does it look worried? A final joke, just to be polite? What do you call someone who stares into the forest too long? Replaced. You move on. The orchard opens one last time wider than before into a grove where every tree bears the same exact face. Hundreds of them, all with closed eyes, all turned slightly skyward. They are listening. The wind moves through them like a memory. You step between them, carefully, quietly. In the center of the grove is a mirror, not silvered, not framed, just a standing oval of still water held upright between two stones. Unmoving, undisturbed. You approach, you look in, and the face that looks back is your own. But not quite. Not scared, not confused, not exhausted. It is waiting. You reach toward the surface. The water ripples, and the mirror smiles first. The mirror doesn't ripple again. Your smile. Its smile settles like mist over still water. It's a patient expression, familiar in the way an old coat fits before you remember you never owned one like it. You drop your hand, but your reflection does not. It keeps reaching. Behind you, the trees creak not from the wind, but from decision. Attention in the orchard has shifted. You've been allowed in. You've passed the test. Or perhaps you were the test. You step back from the water, but your reflection stays. It watches you, not malevolently, just accurately. You turn. The path has returned. No loops now. No doubled trees, no repeated clearings. A single path. It stretches forward, dappled with faint light, flanked by stone markers carved with faces too weathered to read. You follow it, and for the first time since arriving, your footsteps feel like yours. The trees are changing. Thinner now, taller, with gaps between their trunks like ribs. You can see sky, or something like it, not blue, not black, just open. And then voices, not ahead, not behind, inside. They're not speaking, just humming. Layered tones that rise and fall in wordless harmonies. You feel the lullaby again, the one you hummed earlier. But it's not in your throat, it's in the ground. Here's something to settle your nerves. A real ancient fact. In 2008, archaeologists uncovered a Neolithic site in Scotland called the Ring of Brodgar. The stones were arranged with acoustic properties in mind. Whispers at one end could be heard on the far side. Music would circle. Memory could echo. It wasn't a monument, it was a listener. The orchard, it seems, has similar tastes. You walk into a ring of trees that are not trees. Pillars. Covered in bark, yes, but too regular. Too symmetrical, as though stone wanted to be wood and memory did the rest. In the center of this new ring stands a low stone platform. Atop it, a mask. This one is made of your face. And that's not metaphor. The slope of the cheekbones. The particular tilt of your left eye. The small mole below your lip. All correct. All impossibly rendered in something pale and warm and waiting. You kneel, not out of fear, out of recognition. The mask smells faintly of apple skin and cedar smoke. You don't remember placing it here, but then you don't remember who did. You lift it. It's light. It fits. The moment you raise it to your face, just an inch, everything stops. No wind, no birdsong, no breath. And then a voice behind you. Gentle, ancient. Yours. It's time. You don't turn around. You place the mask back on the platform. The orchard exhales. You realize something. You were never here to find anything. You were here to become part of the memory, not lost in it, woven through it. Another quiet joke. What's the only way to leave a haunted orchard? Accept the invitation. You step back from the platform. The trees around you lean just enough to make a passage. One last path. Narrow, true. The masks in the grove tilt gently toward it, like faces nodding in approval. You walk. With each step, the faces you've seen drift in and out of memory. A stranger on a train. A child you never knew. The version of you who stayed. The one who left. You feel none of them are gone. Just remember differently. At the end of the path, the orchard ends not in shadow, but in silence. The ground turns to stone, and before you can ask where you are, the orchard answers. Not in words, in breath. The wind carries 1,000 voices. They all speak in your face. And then, nothing.